with another baby names video, and this one's something a little bit different. If you've watched my videos before, they normally have a theme to them. Well, my baby names videos tend to have a bit of a theme. Usually it's either Irish baby names or say Greek baby names. I've done unique baby names, old-fashioned baby names, things like that. But today I'm going to share with you just some of my favourite names. So they're not a particular theme, it's just ones that I really love, and it's all boys' names. And there's a particular reason why I'm doing this video and why I'm sharing boys' names today. And it's because a lovely mummy vlogger, another vlogger, called Kirsten Slatter. She has a vlog called 1 + 1 is 3. She is currently expecting her third baby, and it's another little boy. And yeah, she contacted me to see if I could give her some name suggestions. So I love this. I've never done one of these before. So I asked Kirsten a little bit about herself and about, you know, her husband, and if they had any interest, to kind of give me a bit of an idea of what sort of names they would like. And I also thought I would just go for some names which I personally like, and I thought I will share some names that I love as well, and maybe Kirsten, you'll like them too, or whoever's watching, maybe you will like the names as well. So yeah, these are 10 names that I really like and that I also think will work with their surname, which is Slatter, and also with their two other boys. They have a boy called Jonah and one called Theo. So I've tried to think of names I think will work with those. So please let me know at the end what you think of any of these names, and if you can think of any other names that you would suggest to Kirsten to go with her two boys, Theo and Jonah, then yeah, leave some names below, because I'm sure she'd love to hear lots of different suggestions. Right, okay, let's get into these names then. So the first one is the name Reuben. Now this is just a name that I have always loved, and if I ever had a baby boy, it would definitely be on my list of names. In fact, I would say it's probably in my top 5. It's a name that people have heard of, but it's not overly used. It's kind of got a slightly kind of trendy, cool feel to it, and I think it goes quite well with the names Jonah and Theo, and also with the surname Slatter. So Reuben Slatter I think works really well. In terms of the meaning of Reuben as well, I didn't realise this until I researched today, but it actually has a biblical connection. And Kirsten, who got in touch with me, is a Christian, so she said that she wouldn't mind if the names had some sort of Christian connection. So yeah, Reuben was the oldest son of Jacob, so he had 12 sons altogether, and yeah, Reuben was the oldest one, so it does have a biblical connection. In terms of popularity as well, although it is fairly popular, it's not like one that tends to be in the top 10 or even the top 20. Last year it was the 48th most popular baby boy's name in England and Wales, and there were 1,322 babies called Reuben. Okay, the second name that I really love is the name Zack, spelled Z-A-C-H. You could spell it, I guess, Z-A-C or Z-A-C-K, or you could go for the longer name Zachary if you wanted. I love all of them, but I think Zack is my favourite. Also, Zachary is actually a lot more popular than Zack, so if you wanted something slightly different, then just go for the shortened form of the name Zachary. And yeah, this name also has a biblical connection, because there are a lot of Zacharias in the Bible, not Zach as such, but Zachariah. So yeah, there's another biblical connection. By the way, they don't all have biblical connections, it's just that a few names that I didn't even realise had Christian connections actually do. And the name Zack only ranked at 279 last year. Zachary did rank higher, but if you wanted just Zack on its own, it was only 279 last year. And there were only 183 babies named Zack. Zachary though, it ranked at number 39, and there were 1,670 babies named Zachary. Okay, next it's a name which I thought of because Kirsten told me that she is a big fan of the New Zealand rugby team, the All Blacks, and her family are from New Zealand. I love rugby myself, and yeah, I've watched the All Blacks a few times, and there's one particular player who I've always had a bit of a crush on, and that is Richie McCaw. So the next name I'm suggesting is the name Richie. So R-I-C-H-I-E. I think it's very cute for a little boy, but also works for a man. I mean, Richie McCaw, he was a big man, so yeah, it can definitely work for a man. And yeah, I just think it's something a little bit different. It is a shortened version of the name Richard, which means brave and strong, so a good name there. And in terms of popularity, there were only 31 babies called Richie last year, and it ranked at 946. Okay, next is a name I just thought I would throw in there because I really like it, and it is the name Jack. Jackson. You can spell it Jackson, or you could go for a slightly more modern twist on the name and spell it Jaxon. I like both spellings. I'm not really sure which I prefer. Quite like Jackson in that you can, with an X, because then you can shorten it to Jax, which I think is quite cool. But yeah, this is just one of the names that I really love, so I thought I would just throw it in there. It means son of Jack, and Jack means God is gracious. And in terms of popularity, it was the 79th most popular name. So it is actually growing in popularity, and I have a feeling next year it's going to be even more popular. So there are definitely more Jacksons. I'm hearing it more and more, but I really, really like the name. So last year there were 858 babies named Jackson. Okay, so the next name is especially for Kirsten's husband, because Kirsten told me that he is into football and especially Everton. So I thought I'd do a little bit of research into Everton players and some of the top players of all time. And I found one who played from 1981 to 89, and his name was Adrian Heath. So I thought, why not suggest the name Heath? I really, really love the name Heath. It's definitely one that I would love to use, only our surname's Hampshire, so I'm not sure if Heath Hampshire works, too many H's. So I'm not sure if we could go for Heath, but you know, maybe you like it, Kirsten. But I really, really like the name Heath. Obviously you have Heath Ledger who made the name, I guess, more popular. So the word Heath, of course, normally describes an unattended land where flowering shrubs grow, according to the dictionary, so that is what Heath means. But I think as a name it's becoming more popular, and I just think it's something a little bit different. People know how to pronounce the name and will have heard of it, but it's not something that is overly used, and I always like names that are a little bit more unique. So in terms of popularity last year, it ranked at number 408, and there were 104 babies named Heath. The next name is the name Levi, L-E-V-I, which I just think is a very cool name. I could just imagine a little Levi being quite cool. Maybe it's long hair or something. Don't know why, it just reminds me of that. Maybe because of the jeans, I imagine would be like sort of some cool guy and like ripped jeans and stuff. Yeah, going off on a little tangent there. But yeah, it means joined in harmony, and it also has another biblical connection because Levi was another son of Jacob. So I mentioned Reuben earlier in this list, and Levi was the third of his 12 sons. It was the 167th most popular boy's name last year, and there were 348 babies named Levi. So it's a name you would have heard of. People know, you know, how to say it, but it's not overly popular. Next, it's a name which I've mentioned in my unique baby boys name list in the past because it's a name I really, really like, and it's the name Hudson. And I just think this is a really cool, strong boy's name. And I do know a friend of mine, her little boy is called Hudson, and he's a real cutie. So yeah, I just really, really like the name Hudson. And it apparently comes from a medieval name, Hud, which is apparently a version of Hugh. And Hugh comes from the word hug, which then means heart, mind and spirit. There we go. There's a long list of meanings there of what Hudson means. I think it can be related to a few different things. In terms of popularity, it was the 154th most popular name last year, and there were 383 babies named Hudson. Next, I asked Kirsten if she was a fan of traditional names, and she said that she was, but the problem is that they are often very popular, and that's true. You do tend to get quite a lot of Jameses and Williams, and obviously Oliver's a really popular name that's always topping the baby names lists. So I thought I'd go for something a little bit different that's still got a sort of traditional connection, and it's the name Alby. So A-L-B-Y, and that is a shortened version of the name Albert. Could go for Albert if you wanted, but I really love the name Alby. I think very, very cute, very sweet for like a little baby boy. I think it goes quite well with Slatter as a surname, Alby Slatter. And yeah, I just think it's a very, very sweet name with a traditional connection, but that's not too common. As I said, it's a shortened version of Albert, which means bright or noble. So quite a nice meaning there. It ranked at number 387 last year, and there were 117 babies named Alby. I also love sort of baby names like Alfie and Archie as well, so you could go for those, Kirsten, if you're checking out some more like traditional names, but they are much more popular and ranked, I think, at number like 14 and 18 last year. So yeah, they're a bit more popular. Okay, we're almost at the end. So my 9th baby name that I love and that I'm also suggesting to another mummy vlogger is the name Elijah. Again, we've been talking about biblical names, and this of course has a biblical connection because there was the prophet Elijah in the Old Testament. But even if you're not looking for a name that has any sort of biblical connections, I think it's just a really nice name. You could shorten it to Eli if you wanted. I also like Eli, so you could call them Elijah and then maybe shorten it, or just go for Eli, whatever works for you. It is fairly popular and has been in the top 50 for a few years, and it ranked last year at number 44, and there were 1,412 babies called Elijah. And the final name on my list is the name Rafferty, spelled Rafferty. And I actually saw this name on my Facebook feed this morning because somebody just had a baby and named them Rafferty. Not a close friend, but yeah, somebody who was on my Facebook feed, and I thought, oh, I really love that name. And I love it even more because it has an Irish and Gaelic connection. Obviously I'm from Northern Ireland, so I do love sort of Irish names and Gaelic names, so I thought, oh, I'll throw one in there for you. And yeah, I just really like the name Rafferty. It's something a little bit different. It just sounds quite trendy. Rafferty is actually an Irish surname, but that's quite trendy at the moment to take a surname and use it as a first name, and I think it works really well as a first name actually. I guess you could shorten it to Raff if you wanted, but personally I prefer it as Rafferty. In terms of the meaning, it means wealthy or prosperous, so another nice meaning. If you want your son to be wealthy or prosperous, then maybe Rafferty is the one to go for. And last year it ranked at number 280 in the most popular baby boys name list, and there were 181 babies called Rafferty. So those are 10 names that I love for baby boys, and they're also 10 names that I think might work for you, Kirsten, if you're watching, for your third little baby. Let me know what you think of any of them. I hope you like some of these names. Some obviously I thought about you and had a bit of a connection, and others I just thought I'd share some names that I really love. Please leave any comments below to let me know what you think of these names, and also give me some of your suggestions for boys' names that you really love, or names that you think would go with the names Jonah and Theo, so that we can give some other ideas to Kirsten as well. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be back with another baby names video soon, and yeah, probably hauls and everything else. So thank you for watching. I hope you're all well. Okay, bye.